Researchers are starting to understand how language models form insights, almost like physical structures or crystals within a model. Hey, my name's Paleo-Cybernetic, or Edward. I talk about the cross-section of AI, spirituality, and technology while being a digital nomad. So some papers just recently came out that really caught my eye. One of them was an interesting one about Claude Haiku from Anthropic. So they were looking at a very simple task. Will this word fit on a line without cascading into the next line? As they were peeking inside the model, they started to see that there was almost like an emergent structure as the model was figuring out how to do this. It was applying different types of math, of geometric transformations, and doing much more than simply predicting the next word. There's an element to these models that is emergent and unexpected for a lot of researchers. I've worked in the past with a lot of image models, and there was a similar thing. There was papers that came out where they stated that image generation models had emergent properties of almost 3D spaces. Even though they're making 2D pictures, they needed to understand light and shadow and structure, so they would have an emergent property of creating a 3D understanding of the space to create the image. There was video by this guy, Max Tegmark, where he was talking about some earlier studies on language models and AI models, where they trained an AI to only know addition, and then they tried to get it to understand, how our time works. Of course, going from 1 through 12 and then flipping over back to 1. So the model only knows addition. It's trying to understand this. And as the model is training, you can see these things on a graph. There's like a sudden moment of insight where it completely understands the subject and is able to, from that point on, move forward with the understanding. In this case, of course, it creates a circle. It understands a circle of the time and repeating. But then it goes one step further and it turns it into a helix, using its addition to, now denote the hours. Absolutely fascinating to see these insights almost have like some sort of spatial recognition. And as the language models get more complex, we're going to see a lot more of those structures come to be. There's one last paper that I found absolutely fascinating, and it's from DeepSeek. It's DeepSeek-OCR, standing for optical character recognition. And essentially this is a model for very quickly using its vision model or multimodal ability to detect images and decode them. It's incredibly accurate at it, and it's so good that it can now take an entire document and with a fraction of the amount of tokens needed, turn that into information. What's compelling about this is it means now that there's this context window where there's a certain amount of information a language model can understand at any given time. If it were to use this optical character recognition instead, it would give it so much more space in the context window by using images. And I can't help but derive the parallel of human memory, right? Where we have very clear spatial representations of things in our mind. We have vision of them when we think of places or things. We see those things. There's people who are shape rotators, so they have the ability to very spatially understand things in a different way in mathematics and strategy, or even in basketball, right? They're able to see the strategy, where the players are and everything. Adding this spatial vision awareness to language models is going to be really powerful, I feel like, and this may be a new direction for AI researchers and language models in general. Anyways, I'm going to continue talking about AI topics, new papers, research that I find, anything that I find fascinating, and in particular stuff that relates to humanity. If you have anything you want explained, or you have questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. Thank you.